Good morning. Today is June the 28th of 2024, and a couple of things to talk about today. The Irish pilots strike, Aer Lingus pilot strike, the American presidential debate, and uh, the future of Europe as an economic powerhouse. So, firstly, the negotiations, which I mentioned yesterday, between the Irish government and or the unions and Aer Lingus collapsed because basically the unions are not going to get what they want, and the Aer Lingus are not going to give them what they want. So we're going to have more strikes, and this is becoming a serious situation now for the Irish government. And like I said yesterday, if the pilots do strike, this is going to cause serious problems. But also, it's going to get the other unions in Ireland to come out on strike as well. So I expect 24-25 to be a year of industrial action in Ireland, as people in Ireland fight for a real wage. As I said before, if a pilot who always historically had a great job, because it's a serious job, isn't it? Let's be honest, it's a pretty complicated job. If they can't make a living in Ireland, what chance for the rest of us, really? You know, I mean, so there you go. So this is a developing story. The other story today doesn't really affect Ireland, but it does actually, because the debate, the presidential debate, which, if anyone, I didn't watch it, I just took a few sources from the pro-Trump and the pro-Biden section, and looked at a few Russian websites and a few other Chinese, and to see what their reaction to the debate was. And of course, Biden was a shambles. Trump, I mean, my 12-year-old daughter would look more intelligent. Well, she'd do a much better job than Biden. So there's no shock there. Trump was Trump. He wasn't as boisterous, apparently, as the few clips I've seen. He was very subdued, except when it came to golf handicap, which, let's be honest with you, when you're talking about golf and you're talking to Trump, you can't bullshit a man and say you have a better handicap, or the guy's a golf nut. But that's just Biden. Anyway, the Irish press, of course, it's a 50-50 debate. Biden did well, Trump did well. The BBC were more critical of Biden. So the rest of the world, just were in amazement, of course, that Biden is president. And but in Ireland, of course, we don't deal with these facts. We're told that Biden did a good job and all that whole rubbish. And so I'd say Biden will be replaced soon by probably Michelle Obama or Gavin Newsom, another, a bit like Leo Varadkar, one of these poster boys who put as much brains as a peacock. And Michelle Obama, of course, is just another face to represent the elites, and she will, of course, spread more racism and this kind of old progressive rubbish that they're on about all the time in the United States, instead of dealing with the problems that they have, like Ireland, of course. And Ireland, back to Ireland's problems. I mean, we are, as I said before, part of the European Union. And when Germany invaded Russia in 1941, we were a sovereign country, and today, of course, we're not a sovereign country. And so we're economically tied to Europe, and which a lot of people in this country feel is like a comfort blanket, and they think it's great, and it's wonderful because where we are geographically. But recently, there's been a lot of economic data coming out from the other side of the world, where there's basis of truth, and they use different matrices for economic superiority. And it's very surprising that I was reading that the most powerful economies in the world now. Number one are China, number two India, number three the United States, number four Russia, number five Japan, Brazil, say, number seven Germany. Germany number seven, and then you have all these other states, you know, Singapore, Malaysia, France, blah 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 blah. But basically, what it's pointing out to me is that Europe is pretty much bottom of the pile when it comes to economic strength now. Nobody's buying euro bonds because they're muck. The only people buying euro bonds are Irish banks, I'd say, and other banks. But what I'm trying to get at here is that Ireland has tied itself now to a sinking economic powerhouse. It's now become more like a power wheelbarrow. And the reason, of course, is because we have decided, well, the biggest reason is that the rest of the world is copying on that the euro is just a money printing machine, and that our costs are way too high here, and we've only made things worse by cutting off the supply of Russian gas and oil, and the Europeans, the Germans especially, have been forced to buy much more expensive gas and oil from the US, and to keep the renters happy over there. They're first in line for the money. So Ireland is tied to this, I would say, collapsing economic world order, economic institution, which has served us nicely for a while, kept the farmers happy, destroyed our fishing industry. Yet we still have a lot to offer, and the most important thing Ireland has to do is to start looking ahead. There's only about 1 billion people in Europe, and there's 8, 6, 7 other billion people around the rest of the world, and we have to start thinking ahead to how do we trade. Are we going to be happy trading with the billion in Europe that have no money, or do we want to start trading with countries like Vietnam, China, India, of course, massive country? What do we have? Are we better off selling into the European market, or are we much better off selling into more of a global market? So this is a serious crossroads for Ireland. I mean, we are basically handicapped in that we have, as I said, a bought government that are not looking ahead. They don't look anywhere. They are just not interested. We, as a country, as an unsovereign country, are tied up financially with the EU and the United States, which we are in a very bad place at the moment, a very, very bad place. Yet, at the end of the day, the most important thing is for us is we are a neutral country still, and the way out of this situation for Ireland is, of course, if we had some strong government, but we had some people that could actually look ahead, who weren't political scientists, more like engineers or anyone with a small grasp of reality, could see that we need to start thinking about creating our own currency again, a digital currency for Ireland, and the renewal of the punt. And we really need to start looking at getting the north of Ireland on board to with us. We need to basically make a push to unite the two countries to make us one country, because we have a lot more to offer then. And of course, that's a big ask, with the north of Ireland being controlled by 100% controlled by the British, although they don't control us by 100%, but not far off it. And so we need to start thinking once again of introducing our own currency, and we need to start thinking again about making some trading partners, and start creating and looking around for investment from other countries. China would be a good country to look for. Russia. I mean, we have a western sea approaches there, which would be ideal for Russia or China, for example, a naval port or something like that. We could start looking ahead. And for the exploration of oil and gas in our waters, we could do it with the help of some countries that are not European and who don't work on the American Western way of ripping you off. So there are many aspects that our geographical location helps us, and most notably, like, is our fishing rights. A lot of people don't realise that we have probably the biggest fishing grounds of any country in the best area in the world. I mean, if we had the north of Ireland, we would have Rockall, and we would have the best fishing grounds in Europe. And if we left the EU, we could just kick every boat out, or else charge each country a couple of 20 or 100 million a year to fish in our waters, one or the other. And by bringing in a large naval, how would I put it, opening up our massive coastline to a Chinese or a Russian naval fleet, who we could actually improve our naval reserves, our naval assets, and have a very strong fishing protection fleet. So, you know, going forward, the European Union is sinking into the ground. People have to realise that soon in this country that it's over. We have to start looking at emerging markets, not emerging markets, where people who want our products. We don't have many products, but we do sell a lot of stuff, and we could. They are owned by foreign countries, but we could just start producing that stuff ourselves, really, if we wanted to, and selling it at a lower price. And we have a lot of agriculture and fisheries, as I said before. But other than that, there are opportunities for Ireland, and we have to start looking away from Europe, because Europe is a nut job area. I mean, van der Leyen, she's an anti-Russian nutcase, ex-Nazi. Her grandfather is a Nazi. Do we really want to be associated with that crap? And so Ireland has to start looking away from America and away from Europe, which is not easy in our geographical position. But as I said, our geographical position has many benefits as well. So the solutions to Ireland's problems are many and varied, and the thinking has to go into more strategic and more planning. All right, so thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow.